Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, you'll wanna. Oh, Jess, you wanna mute?
I'm echoing again.
Mute.
Okay, how about now?
Mute the Twitch.
Shit!
Mute the Twitch. We got it. There we go.
Shit!
Hello, everybody. Yes. Hello, everyone. This is the second episode of The Spark with C2 and Jess Debacco. We are here on the Trident Network, a three-pronged digital entertainment network. We do podcasts, we do YouTubes, we do live streams, which is what we're doing right now here on the Trident Network, Twitch. This music is still going. The Trident Network, the Trident Network, Twitch. And today, me and Jess are having a discussion, as we do on The Spark, about things that light us up. There are quite a few things that light us up, and I gotta put that on. There we go. There are quite a few things that light us up. But we are here today to talk about them. Oh my god, hi, Sava! Hi, Sava. All right.
So hard going back and forth. I know, I wish I could see who's in here, but hi.
I wish I could see.
Come.
You can. Oh, that's okay if Mimi can't come. I love Mimi.
I
love Mimi. No worries. I posted about it. We're here. The first thing we wanted to talk about, besides hello, how you feeling? We had a little moment. As we always do before we go on. We wanted to talk about the thing that brought us closer, which was actually conflict.
Yeah.
A little bit of spicy conflict. The thing that made us very good best friends.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of spicy conflict.
It was like we always fucked with each other. We were always
ultimately.
We clicked like right off the bat. We met at Second City. We started a writing program together, which was basically a year-long program, and we stayed together throughout.
Yes.
And always close, very much got each other's comedic voice, and we're good, like, let's bounce this off this person, let's bounce this off this person, and help each other edit and create and whatever. And then if I remember, so then after that, I don't know how much time went by, but there was definitely a lapse where I was in conservatory.
Yeah, well, we were done with that program, so then we were doing other stuff. Then I was like doing another thing, and you were doing another thing. You were doing conservatory. Right. I was doing like sketch stuff with people.
Right. And I did conservatory, which had like graduation shows. And if I recall, you lived close to the theater.
I did. I lived right down the street from Second City. I did.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then they would say you had to have X amount of people in the audience, or they would cancel it.
Yes.
And
I
so
remember that.
So every Monday, we were minutes from curtains up, and they're like, hey, you don't have enough people in the audience, text your friends. And I went, oh, Carly lives really close. I'm going to message her and be like, hey, what are you doing? Come to Second City and see this show.
Yeah.
And I did that. There were there were like 8 weeks of shows.
Oh, yeah.
4 of which threatened to be canceled. And I think on like the third one, I did that 3 separate times. And then I just remember, I'm sorry, I'm like hogging this because the memories are coming.
No, you tell me. I want to hear what your memory is, because I know what my memory is.
Okay, yeah. So then here's what happened. So then I was like, Carly, what are you doing? Like, come to this show, blah, 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 blah. And then I can't remember. Our show did get canceled. So we're just sitting around, and I get a long, thoughtful message from you that, like, you could just feel the care, the hurt, and the effort that went into it. And I'll never forget it, because it was like one of the first times where I was like, oh my God, like this is, I've always had a fear that people think shit behind your back. and would never say it to you. And here's an
Yeah.
example of someone saying it because I could tell they believe I can do better. It wasn't to like fuck me over or like be like, hey, you're an asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I'm
literally
gonna
just
give
were
you the
like,
business.
yeah, exactly. You literally were just like, hey, Jess, I just want to say, like, it actually really hurts my feelings every time that you message last minute on Monday because I haven't seen you in a long time and I really like you. And so when I get a message, I go, oh, yay, Jess. And then I find out it's only because you want me to come so your show doesn't get canceled. And it bums me out because, like, in the future, if you want to hang, let me know. But please stop messaging me to come, like, save your ass for your like poor planning. Basically, you didn't say that,
Yeah.
but essentially. And then I just was like, oh my, I was just so overwhelmed with gratitude, like, and honestly heartache. Like I just was like, no, my friend.
I
And
love
just,
you that is the first thing you felt, which was like, oh, my friend. Like,
my
that's
friend!
great. Like, that's like, oh, we love each other. Like, yeah.
It was like, oh my God, look at how, and I know how much that would have hurt me to write. So I was just able to like empathize with like, God, that took a lot of strength. God, that like, she's so vulnerable. You know, I could totally be like, you know what, fuck you, which is like what our fear.
Well, yeah, like you could, like, and I've done that before. Well, nobody, and honestly, that was rare when I was younger, is having messages like that. Like, that was kind of a rare, and that was funny that we're bringing this up, because, like, that was one of the moments where I was, like, changing and, like, healing, and, like, I'm going to be better than all the patterns that I've observed and all the things that I've been involved in before. Like, I'm just going to, like, let her know. Ow. Because I really want to keep her as a friend. And it's, like, so, like, I sent you that text message and you were like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. Like, that is not, like, I wasn't even, like, I'm so sorry I wasn't thinking about it. You're right. Like, we definitely have to hang out. Like, I love hanging out with you. I wasn't even thinking about it in that way. Like, I just knew that you're close, so that, like, it was like, and you were, like, you were just like, who could conceivably come to this? Well, Carly lives right down the street. Maybe she's not doing anything. Yeah. Which is, you know, normal. That's normal. And you weren't thinking, and you weren't even thinking, like, our friendship is in jeopardy. Like, you were just like, no, we're friends, and I don't know what she's doing. I'll hit her up. And then to me, so then in my mind, we had spent this year together, like, seeing each other every week, hanging out all the time and doing that. And then you grow apart. Like, you don't see each other as frequently, and that happens a lot in performance spaces. And, like, I'm used to that because, like, you're in a group with someone, you see them every week, you do the thing, and then everybody moves on and they do something else. And, like, you do that, and you have friends, you retain friends from those connections. But in order to retain those connections, you really have to be like, hey, I want to be friends with you. And I've had to do that with a few people. I've been like I had one of my really good friends from college. I kept on trying to hang out with him, and he kept flanking on me. And I was like, listen, I'm trying to be your friend, and we're adults now. And you're pissing me off. Like, I had to tell him. And this was even before when I had with you. I was like, you're pissing me off, and I want to be your friend, okay? And he was like, oh my God, you're right. Oh God, when are we hanging out? Like, he was like, oh fuck, you're right. But the same thing. And then, but with you, I was like, in my memory, we kept trying to coordinate something, and it wasn't working. Like, our schedules didn't work. We couldn't hang out. Like, it wasn't like you were always answering me, and neither of us was being flaky, but I was always like, I really want to hang out. And you were like, yeah, I really want to hang out, but we never could do it. So then when you were like texting me about this thing, I was just like, yeah. Why? I want to hang out with you. So it was like, I really hope that you, and then it's me being like, I really want to be real friends with you. Like, I don't want to be just comedy friends with you. Like, I want to be real life friends with you. Is that okay? And then you were like,
yeah, right.
Yes. So it was like, but it was like, and I did have to say, like, this is how it made me feel, which is like the scariest, hardest thing to do. Even now, I have a few conversations I have to have just in my life, and they're not like pressing, like my life's going to end if I don't have these conversations, but there's some conversations I need to have with people, not to get, and the other funny thing about this kind of conversation is like, it's never the best, the ones that end the best anyway, is like, I'm not trying to get anything right? I'm just trying to like tell you like this is how I feel and you need to know.
Yeah.
And this is what I guess I don't even know if I told you. I don't think I said like, I might have said like, I want to be real life friends with you or something. Like, I want to hang out with you for real too.
Yeah.
Like, I'll come to your show, but like also, you're my friend.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't remember exactly what I said, but.
Said, fuck your show. I'll never support your comedy.
I don't even think you're funny and you should stop messaging
Never
me.
have. I just want to like talk with you because honestly, when you do comedy, it's like, and I don't want to see that. No, but
Oh, how is that also a deep-seated fear that I know about being a deep comedy stuff? Okay. Ew. No.
No. It was crazy because it was a catalyst moment for me, and I think that's the takeaway for everybody if they so choose is you don't know what speaking your truth is going to catalyze not only in yourself but in someone else. And if you care about them, do you actually think that swallowing that and building up resentment is loving them? That's actually letting them hurt you. And that is not, if you have a real friend, what your real friend would ever want to do to you. And what you did also, like, as a person, I'm someone who kind of flits around, and you help me. One, there's a difference, and it is really slight. There are people who are very entitled to my time. If I don't hang out with them regularly enough, they think my love doesn't count, and that they're like, we spend the whole time catching up, them going, well, you haven't called, and I'm just like, okay,
we're wasting time. We're wasting time. Yeah.
The phone works both ways, you know, and also like I'm really fucking busy, as we all are.
Yeah.
Like it's not even about you. And so you were never like you were never entitled to my time. It was just you just helped me see that like one, it was able to be applied to so many other people. Like you speaking that is something that would never leave me, still hasn't. And what I did say ultimately is like I was like, dude, I didn't even think about that. Honestly,
yeah, you said, you were like, I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, I'm so sorry. Like,
mind, right. I was like, in my mind, I thought, come to the show and then we'll get to hang after. But like, I didn't communicate that. And of course you would feel used. And like, thank you for communicating. And you responded like, honestly, I'm also on my period, so it's probably good.
Oh my God, every single conversation that I have like that is when I'm at my period.
Which I just think is like our authentic feeling, just at a magnitude that we cannot ignore it or push it down, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And so what it did for me though is like, one, it made me realize like, you can't just blow up a friend, someone you love and would genuinely desire to hang out with, out of the blue, haven't talked to them in forever, and asking them for a favor without recognizing that that is going to make them feel used and make them feel like not really your friend.
Yeah.
And that is fair. And I thought that like, and it just gave me the courage and the permission to also be as lovingly direct. And I'm not going to lie, it took me like 2 years to hit the level of honesty and like, cause I'm a Libra, bitch. You've got fire.
You're like, I'm trying to keep it 100 always. So I'm trying to keep this shit equilibrium.
Right. Which, you know, I just uncovered that like the root of all my shit. Like I uncovered this summer how much I do out of guilt versus authentic want. And I think I shared that with you.
Yeah.
And I just uncovered this last week, the real root of that, which potentially there's a real root to what I'm going to say, but it's, I want you to like me. And if I say something that's going to upset you, you're not going to like me. And what I've realized is through this like pressure cooker of a life experience, especially in this past year where I'm living amongst family, the trick is to not backpedal. If you go, like if I go, Carly, like that upset me that you said that. And then you go, what? Like, I didn't mean to do, and then I go, never mind. You know, honestly, I was probably, blah, blah, blah. If you backpedal, you lose the window, and it's always in the back of each other's mind. But if you go, yeah, no, I know you didn't mean it this way, but this is what happened. It's love.
Yeah, it's love. And it's so funny, and that's been a constant since that conversation with you. That's been a constant theme in all of my relationships, which is we build the most connection through repairing and being with each other through hard moments, because the fun times are fun. That's why I like you. Like, yeah, we have a fun time most of the time. But if there's a hard moment that needs to be had, you figure out, okay, we got to have, because like hard moments happen in every single relationship, every single one. Even my relationships that like have the least amount, but the way that I like judge them by the least amount of friction is not we never have friction. It's that we address it and we go through it. And we go through it together, and neither one of us is going to be like, fuck this, or like neither one of us is going to do a wild card thing that leaves the other person like empty-handed inside of the relationship without recourse. And that's how I know that I like the people in my life, like I'm like, oh, we can move through stuff.
Right.
And sometimes it takes a long time.
That's what I was just gonna say. I just saw Ryan's comment.
Oh yeah, I want to read Ryan's comment.
This is a healthy conversation, but also sending or getting a real talk text like that makes my heart race.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That means you're normal.
Okay. Yeah, not only is that okay, that is what happens. Period.
Yes, forever.
That is what happened to me when Carly sent me that message.
My heart was racing when I was writing the message.
Exactly. And I went, oh my God, because I had to suss, first of all those emotions come up of, oh my God, she's mad at me, she hates me, and also like ego of like, what the fuck, that's not what I meant, you know, all that comes up.
Oh yeah.
But through breathing and seeing not only your friend who's doing this, but seeing yourself, if you know, as like Ryan, I can sense if you're having that anxiety, then you care deeply about the other person and you do not want to hurt them. You won't. And remember that you're that person. And if we did not have that real talk conversation, which at this point was at least 5 years ago.
It was so long ago. Wait. Was it 5 years ago?
Because it was pre-Trump.
Wait, it was like.
And that was 2015.
It was 2015. Because I was living in Old Town. So it was 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's like 7 years.
That's not allowed to be more than 4 years ago.
That was 7 years ago. We've had so many gabs since then, though. Time like dilates when we gab. It dilates.
Right, and that's the thing I was gonna say though. Had we not had that fucking conflict,
we wouldn't have.
We have hit levels of depth and connectiveness and trust that we never would have had without that one moment of foundation. And ever since then, now we'll have conversations and it doesn't even feel like an attack. It feels like, ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's how it felt for you. Ooh,
yeah.
Interesting. It felt like this for me. And that, and because now that both of us, Carly for longer than me, for real, have been having direct, honest, here's the truth, and it's not fair to you or me to swallow it, conversations, we've now gotten the gift of seeing the evidence of how much better it is on the back end, the release you feel, the love you feel.
And that's what connection is. Like, that's what it is. That's what we desperately want. That is what, that stuff that you're like, I'm looking, I'm searching, like, that's what it is. Like, right on the other side of being like, I'm gonna freak out, like, I'm freaking out. Right on the other side of that is the connection that I am begging and needing. I need it.
And then that's the high
every time.
Because it's like the best feeling in the world. You're just like, it's like you don't know you're tense till you're breathing and you go, oh God, oh my God, I was fucking tense. My jaw was clenched. Mm-hmm. My heart was racing.
Because you allow, and that's like, being honest is really hard. Sorry. Being yourself, like when they say like that cliche, well, just be yourself. It's like, that's the hardest thing to do in the world. Because I want people to like me and accept me because that's contingent upon my survival as a human being. It's like true. Yeah. But now we're in a place now where like not as much but that's the thing. When you're yourself, you think, oh, everyone's going to hate me or whatever. And sometimes you do destroy your life being yourself. I've done it before. But the life that you had isn't really your life. It's this weird thing that you had around you that is in the way of what your real life is. And when you're being yourself, you're calling the things that are actually for you to you. But when you've learned this, like, and I still have a little bit of this where I'm like holding on to this thing. Like, I don't know don't have this thing. What it like if I let it go, what do I have? And it's like you will always get what you need if you're yourself.
Right.
Let's read. So random quote. I'm so lucky to have good communication with my best friend. I tell her when I'm feeling jealous or insecure, and it really helps our relationship. Yes. And it's telling my friend, I admit you exist when I'm not around. Please admit that for me too. That is so necessary, and that I never even thought about it that way, Ryan. And yes. Yeah, like I know you're a full, complex, flowering, complex human being with a whole inner world that I don't have privy to the same way that you have privy to your own thoughts, but like, or I'm not privy to, but like, here's how I'm feel like, and you like, and each time it's like, we're so cute. Like, we're like, I would like to connect with you in honesty, please. Like, and it's like you're like a little kid. Sweet. Like, I made this macaroni drawing for you. Like, and it's like that's what it's like every time. Do you love me? Like, can you love me anyway? I actually wrote a poem about that. It's like, I don't think people need to be told what's wrong with them. I think the only question you need to answer with somebody is, can you love me anyway? Can you love me?
I almost
anyway,
cried.
Yeah. That's been the theme.
Song, you dumb bitch.
Like we think like, oh, this is so-and-so has a problem and so-and-so needs to fix their problem and I have a problem and and it's like, I think the question we should be asking is, can you love me anyway? And for some people that answer is no. Like for some people, the way that they are, it's no, I can't love you this way. And that's okay, but that has to be true.
Amen.
And for some people, it's like, does it really matter that I didn't do that thing? Like, does it matter? Can you love me anyway? I didn't empty the dishwasher the right way or sweep enough, or like, because when you think like the stuff that we get mad about, and I think about that when I'm like doing the dishes and I'm mad about something and I'm mad about a person doing something and I'm like, but can you love them even if they've done that? Or even if they do it this way, or even if they talk this way, or even if they said it this way, like, and you have to check in and ask every day for whoever it is. But like, that's the only question, because I feel like we get so like, if this could just be different, if I could just be different, if this could just be different, if this could just be different, and you can change and people can change and that's true and that's fine. But like, yeah, can you love me anyway is like the theme for me.
That. And I think that like it all comes down to, because like a mantra that keeps like going in my head is people want to possess me, if that makes sense. And I'm sure
it does. That's people want to. That's a program that a lot of people have. They think it's not real unless I own it, unless it's mine. But you can't. There's nothing that you could own. There's nothing that you actually have. You don't have things. You give the illusion of that.
We get that way. It's the attachment of like, this is my friend. This is my whatever.
Oh yeah. I got that. I got that one a lot.
And in my head, I constantly am hearing like, if you love me, let me go. And so I'm realizing that the root of, can you love me anyway? If you love me, let me go. Whatever your mantra that keeps repeating with or without your effort, it's like, can you stop? Don't worry about what other people are doing. No. Can you love that way?
Can you love?
And
oh yeah.
Can you? And then you receive it. And that's the thing I was gonna say in addressing with Ryan too, is that one, I have had people where I have said the thing and it didn't have the beautiful healing moment that Carly and I had, but it did 10 years later.
Oh.
You know, and we went and we let, it's like, I love you. Therefore, I can't lie to you and say that what is happening is okay because I love you. And if that's not okay, if you can't do that right now, I understand. And it's easier to say outside of a difficult moment than it is in it. But it's like, then I let you go. And I'm letting myself go, and we're going to go have our life experiences that we're clearly meant to have separate. Mm-hmm. And then potentially, with or without that expectation, potentially we can then come together in a different place down the line. But either way, it doesn't matter because it's not right now, and we're hurting each other by trying to force it.
Yeah. It's so
And
funny
then
that we're talking about this. And then Random
please.
Core says, most of my thoughts are invasive kind that I know are silly, but it helps to talk about it. I'm so glad you said that, because I'm having that too, where it's like, I understand that the invasive thoughts that I'm having aren't real, but they are still happening. So like, I'm just getting into the habit of now actually opening up, which sounds funny because I'm doing a talk show when we're talking about all of our innermost, deepest feelings, but like, I have a really, really hard time talking about those things with people where I'm like, this is an invasive thought that I know is fake, that I know isn't real. But like, that's what, like, sharing that space with somebody to be there and to be able to hold you through that, that's another reason why we connect with each other, is so that we don't have to do it alone. You could do it alone, you can, and it'll work. Yeah. But like, you don't have to all the time. If somebody's there and goes, hey,
you don't have to be fixed, or well, or healed to speak, you know?
And that's a skill. And like, yeah, some people, yeah.
Sometimes too, like I'm dealing a lot with a family member who I am so blessed to be able to talk this vulnerably with, and as a result, it's like seeing my own mind outside of my body, and I'm like diagnosing my own shit through her like brave exposure of it all. But she has a lot of intrusive thoughts, which then points out that I do too.
Yeah.
And
did her intrusive thoughts trigger yours? Like, are you like when there was intrusive thoughts?
It's so weird. It does almost the opposite, where I go, oh my God, I've had that intrusive thought. And since you said it in an isolated way, instead of in my own mind, it's just like, intrusive thought mash. It's like, with her, it's like one singular thing, and I go, oh, that's not true. You know?
Yeah.
But what I've realized is, like, we can, when we talk about, like, saying the truth, even includes, like you said, I know this isn't real. You clearly don't, actually, in that moment. And why is that bad? You don't at this moment. You know, yes, you know.
Conceptually, yes. Intellectually, sure.
Real. Conceptually, but clearly, the more that we're trying to shame it and push it away and tell us that we're stupid and
but it's coming up for a reason. So now it's not the thought, it's okay, why is this coming up?
And say it out loud, even to yourself, and then go like let's say, for example, you have a lazy day. You don't brush your teeth, you don't shower, you don't fucking meditate, you don't do whatever, and in anyone's eyes, we consider that a failure or whatever. Am I frozen?
No, I clicked away and it's very touchy. I'm not going to do that again.
I'm on the wrong screen.
No, you're good.
And I get confused. It's like universally, anyone I talk to considers that a failure of a fucking day. Well, if you say it out loud, it is perspective. It is the stories we're telling around it, where it's like, today I laid in bed. Today, instead of like, I'm a fucking failure.
Yeah,
it's like,
you're right.
That's not necessarily
and
true.
Attaching the meaning, which is like an extra whole step that is like you're doing, that you're realizing you don't realize you're doing it until you say it out loud.
And you can literally say it out loud to a friend or to yourself or to a therapist, however, out loud. And then hear yourself be mean to yourself in the way that we are in our minds. Literally hear yourself be such a dick and be like, I haven't brushed my teeth. Well, then my teeth are gonna rot out and I'm a waste and no one will love me. Whatever the fuck. And then just be
that's
like,
how fast that goes too.
Exactly.
When you let it run through, yeah.
Surrender and go, I need this to stop, so I'm gonna watch shit, I'm gonna smoke shit, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna do whatever to make this feeling just numb. Which I heard a guy say that numb isn't feeling nothing, it's actually feeling everything all at once, and you can't suss it out. And I went,
overstimulated.
Overstimulated. And so it's like, okay, so you have, I just need rest, man.
Yeah.
When has your rest, when have those days ever been permanent?
So
when
essential.
Has your happiness ever been permanent?
So essential.
When is anything? And it's easy to say this right now because we're in high spirits and good company. But like, for example, I'm so sorry. Jesus, I'll stop talking after this. But
no, you're great.
For example, last week we had last week. Fuck, I don't know time. Don't care about it. It's not. I know it's not real. Anyway, I
The
want
last time
to
we were live.
know.
Is that
Last time we were live, thank you, God bless you. We had a beautiful talk. I felt set up for the day, and then I had a like temper tantrum meltdown with my dad. I can't even remember at
You
this
told me about
moment
this.
what
We
was
talked about it later.
because I just was like, I need to point out that with all this talk of like, look at how we're doing good. I was just like, get out of my room, and like still. So all that is to say, the intrusive thoughts, all of it, even though we're talking in this moment, I really want to take a moment to go, it's not like we've solved it.
Oh
It's
no,
not like,
wait. That's not even what this is about. Yeah.
amen. Amen. And so it's like
I just invited people to this. We're just doing
Right.
this. I was just like, you guys should come. I really think we would have a good time, everybody. It was it was so funny because like it happened. The idea for this, us talking, doing the spark, and like me and you, just happened because I was like, I really like to do this, and I like doing it in front of people. Both of us like being in front of people and connecting with people. So I was like, well, I have people who, when we have conversations like this on stream, they like that. So I'm gonna let them know where we're having these conversations, these beefy conversations that I like to have, but that's not always what stream is about. I'm gonna make just the thing for that. But it is like it's just whatever it is happening, for no other reason than like it is what we're doing right now.
And it's just like, for me, it's so helpful, and I know it's for you like too, where it's like our heads are so loud, and the stories that we're telling, especially when you're on any kind of like, I'm trying to do better journey.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be so mean to yourself and gracious to others. And if we could just, anytime I hear a voice come through that punches through the bullshit and just rings a little more true and a little more
that's
empowering.
Like, yeah. And you know what it sounds like. You know what truth sounds like. When you hear it, you do know. Everybody knows what it sounds like, and it doesn't like, it doesn't sound like intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are busy, and like for me, they're like da 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 da, chat from the skull. That's what Alan Watts calls it. Chat from the skull. This, but truth is like one, like it's like one. It's like true no that comes through.
And I've heard that in terms of your intuition versus your ego. Your intuition is direct. Should I quit this job? Yes. Should I move to Washington? Yes.
No.
Should I break up with this person? No. It's clear. The ego goes, well, I feel like maybe I should.
And then if you read the thing, and then if you went,
my savings account isn't in the best position. How am I gonna get a truck? I'm gonna need a truck to move. It's like it just comes, and your intuition. And that's the thing. It's following truth, and it's just clarity, but it's also very scary because
it's terrifying.
Our society does no business. It does nothing to help us feel confident in that, and
it does the exact opposite. Actually, is that it wants you to not feel confident because it wants you to do whatever program you're participating wants. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever dogma you were raised in, whatever like lineage, your family will even program you against your own intuition if it's their best interest. It's not good or bad. It's just we exist as part of systems, and those systems want us programmed to do what benefits the system, whatever system that is, government.
Exactly. For prime example, if any of us, which I think there's many of us since COVID, have taken any breaks in employment, how is every conversation with your family, your friends? So what are you doing for work? What do you think you're going to do for work? How are you going to make money? Like, what do you think you're going to, and just that, and us going, I don't know, maybe I could do this. And they're not assholes, and we're not like cowards. It's just, we're conversing. And by just having that conversation of like justifying why, I don't know why, I just need a break. Justifying that gets us trapped a little further, because we're like, now the voice is in our head, what am I going to do for money? God, am I being reckless? Holy fuck. Even though shit's coming, you've got work ethic, you want to do these things, you've got passions, you've got abilities, you've got these things, but right now And it's so hard to tell people, I don't know, even though that's the
Dude.
truth. Because people don't accept that. So it's hard to believe it ourselves when everyone around you is making you feel crazy.
And you got to do this little dance, right? Like, I got to do my dance. I got to do my dance for them so they'll leave me alone. That's how I feel all the time. Not all the time.
Yeah.
Not like when I'm streaming, not when I'm like with, like, there's certain pockets of time when I don't feel that way. But like in like what I would consider like the real world, but it's not real to me. Like that, none of that shit's like when I go and I talk to my, like, it feels like a little dance. I got to do my little dance so that people will leave me alone. That's like, I'm like, I got to do my dance so you'll leave me the fuck alone.
Do I make sense to you now?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, what I'm considering is just like not doing it anymore. It's just being like, I don't care about what you think about, like doing whatever I want and being like, well, let me show you real quick.
Well, and I will say that I think I am at a point where I love that rhyme. What are you doing next?
Oh yeah, what do you do next? Like, can I take this breath real quick first? And then Versky said, facts. As someone who had 4 years off between occupational burnout and COVID, people don't like when you're not a cog in the machine. They're upset that they do not have this time that you have given yourself or been forced to take or worked with your partner on. You have to wear masks. And then A Star, it says you have to wear masks around people and it's so exhausting. Yeah, like I got to do the thing. But it's not even like, at this point of my journey of my, like, and it is exhausting. And I used to be doing it because I wanted people to like me. And now it's like, I just want you to leave me alone. I just want to distract you enough with like, this is fine. Leave me alone. But now it's like, I don't think that that's serving me though. Like, I don't think that that's good for me. I think I should actually be trying to like, just do whatever it is. And like, who fucking cares what anybody thinks about that? The only thing about that is like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, so I am at the other end of the spectrum, and I think you're at this end. Leave me the fuck alone. And I'm like, I want connection. I want you with me. And at the same time, I'm in motion. If you sit down, I'm still in motion. And like, you can walk with me, but I'm not gonna like carry your dead weight along with me. Yeah. So I think I'm honestly as balanced as I've been so far in my life. More balance to be had, but what I will do is attempt at the labor to, like, example, like if you were to I'm just honest, and if that is they see themselves out if they can't hang. They do.
That is what I'm on right now for sure.
Right. And so like I am just, instead of being like, I don't care, like fuck you, and like I'm not gonna explain myself to you and blah blah blah, it's like I go, you know what, I don't know. A perfect example that honestly gave me a lot of freedom was The Truth, which, and I think I've shared this with you.
Was The Truth.
Was The Truth. And it was people, especially because we do comedy, we're performing, people are like, what are you creating next? Like, what are you going to work on next? What's your next show? And are you itching? And I finally found the response that one allowed them to see me and allowed me to like go on no further and not have to like defend it, which was, I said, you know what it is? I don't have a pull right now, but I had a pull to move to Chicago. I did it. I had a pull to do Second City. I did it. I had a pull to go on this vacation. I did it. Whatever. I don't have a pull right now, but I trust that I will. And when it comes, I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. And that's been 3 years now.
I like that.
But this is a pull. You hit me up with this. I had a pull, jumped. You fucking, like,
Yeah. When you know, you know.
Yeah.
When you know, you know.
Okay. You want to talk about AI? Is that
we're going to talk about AI. That was the only thing I wanted to talk about. Because it feeds it feeds into what we have been talking about, as they all do, as all of them do. The AI thing where art. My main thing with this conversation, which I think is not what the actual conversation is about, is that like everybody's trying to say like it's good or it's bad, which is like not really how it works, right? Like it's like we're past that. It exists now. So like arguing about whether or not it's good or bad is like that's over. But my thing about it is like we're really needing to like, I guess we don't need to define anything. Like we actually don't have to do any of that. Like if someone were to ask me about AI, I could be like, I don't know, none of my business. Like I could say that. You can say that, like for sure. I've just been thinking about it, and I don't have like a definitive stance, and that's not what the thought is for. But I think about it in terms of like
place to be at.
What?
Look, man, I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know what they mean. I don't have an opinion necessarily. It's just I'm thinking a lot about it, and so yeah. So I'm the same way. I'm not like pushing a narrative or have somewhere to go with this. I'm curious.
What I think is it's pushing us to actually engage with art outside of money, because we keep trying to, and not in a way where it's like artists shouldn't get paid, in a way where it's like we can't keep letting money define what is important, because what it is worth, because art is priceless. A human being's ideas are priceless. Money is like a very limited two-dimensional like way to measure something. So we keep saying like, well, this is stealing money. Same thing with like DMCA licensing for music. It's like, well, it's the money. Like, it's like weird because it's like, well, now we're being forced to be like, okay, well, like, what is this thing that we keep trying to quantify? Like, what are we trying to quantify? And I think the more that we're trying to like grab it and quantify it, the more complicated it becomes for us in like our 3D reality, when like art and music and all that stuff, like we're channeling that, right? Like, I mean, like I guess you'd have to believe in a universal consciousness to like jive with that concept. You'd have to believe that we're all connected.
So let's go.
Exactly. There we go. So I'm an antenna. When I make stuff, I'm channeling up and it's coming down and I'm making it as an instrument. So what? None of this shit is mine. I'm not money. Like none of this stuff is mine. The art isn't mine. The music isn't mine. The stuff that I come up with, it's not mine. But the only reason that we have to care, is because it's about money. Because if everybody was taken care of, right? I hate proposing this because it's not our reality. But we're bringing down, it's frustrating to me because I'm like, we're bringing down universal concepts into a reality where we're trying to make them fit in a reality where they don't apply. But that is the truth, right? The truth, the objective truth. That is the objective truth. No. How do you reconcile? I don't know how we're going to do it. I'm like, how do you reconcile a universal concept such as like art or music into a box where what's fair and what's good and what's right? What's fair and good and not bad?
Yeah.
But I feel like we're past that part. That's why I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Because I'm like, we're past the part of whether or not it's good or bad. It's already happening.
Yeah.
So now what?
You know.
Now what do we do? Like, I'm less like.
So, on one hand, am I wrong? Have you done it, by the way?
Am I wrong? I have. I've done a little bit of AI art.
Do you have to pay
in Midjourney?
for it?
You have to pay. You don't always have to pay for it. It just depends on what it is. So I do Midjourney, and I do a subscription to Midjourney. And that's like, you get an amount of generations per month for like $10.
Okay. So, well, you know, and I am like, again, I'm mushy. I have nothing nailed down. I have not talked about this with anyone. So it's a lot of like, I'm probably going to say shit that I wouldn't back up.
Oh yeah. I'm not stuck on any stance for this because I just keep thinking about it and I'm like, oh, these are like giant concepts that I keep trying to like stuff into a fucking buff. I'm like, come on, will it fit? And none of it fits, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
Right. So it's like I feel.
But I wanted to tell you. I wanted to see what you thought.
Talk it out.
That's why, yeah.
Scab about it. So ultimately, okay. Here's my initial unorganized thoughts that come up. One, I have a real confliction because, like, if, let's say, it was our comedy that we wrote, and someone just like took it and then combined it with other things, but it's ours. It's our words, it's our joke, it's our whatever. I'm conflicted because on one hand, I'm all about sharing intel and I'm all
Yeah.
about like communal whatever. And on the other hand, I'm furious, And like, is that my ego? Is that true? Is it real? I literally don't know,
Yeah.
And like, and then I'm looking at like, okay, so what an artist, like I do fucking art
Yeah.
and it is nothing to be monetized. And I'm glad I don't have that pressure. But I think that's what people are like, it's only good and real if it can be monetized, which is a fucked up thought. And it is a fucked up true standard that we have.
Yeah.
And I think that's fucked up. But then it's also like the people who are creating this art that is being like harvested from, particularly like there's a handful of people where it's like, it's all my art. All my art is taken from this. Like all of it. And they're like showing comparisons and stuff. They went to school. I don't think education should cost anything, but they spent thousands and thousands and are likely in debt as a result of it. They have put in the time. They have tried. It is their blood, sweat, and tears that is just within a, and so I do ache for that. Like I do ache for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to, and because I'm with you. Like I think that it's like, let's go, let's just create, let's make it more, let's make it bigger.
Not,
so
it's not like, oh yeah, who cares about the AI? It's like,
I lose you?
No. I'm like, it's like, isn't that how we all learn to do art? Is by copying the people who were doing, like, isn't that through time? Isn't that how we learned how to do music? Isn't that how, this is just so fast that it feels like stealing.
Ooh.
Like, it's so, it's faster than anything we could ever conceive of. Like, never, and I'm not saying it's technically, because I have a hard time calling it stealing. It's a lot of things, but it's like, how did you learn how to do that? Well, my teacher taught me. Okay, well, how did your teacher learn how to? Well, they got, so like, it's just a thing that learns so fast because it didn't, when the AI art thing first happened, it was all fucked up and weird for a year, 2 years or so. And now it's really good. But the thing, and like when it first started and everybody was like, well, this fucking computer is a dumb fucking asshole. Like it can't draw shit. Who cares? But like when you, like the way that it learns is technically the same way that everybody else learned how to do art. It just does it 1 million times faster than any human being can do it. But it does have to learn. You do have to teach it. It's not just like, because you can put somebody's art in there, but it couldn't do it. The ones that can do it now, those shitty machines had to do it first, and they were fucking abominations forever, for years. They were abominations, and that's why I'm like, okay, is it because it's not a human, right? Because it's not human, right?
Yes. Okay, wow. That just like, I'm so glad you said all that. And yeah, Ryan, 100%. Like,
yeah, like
that's
it's learning
fair.
the same way
like
we
really
learn.
Legit arguments. What I think is the difference, and I just don't think that like what is happening right now with AI needs to be permanent. I think that a lot of issues are legit being addressed, and I hope that it can evolve with it, because if the AI has taken from art, it has the ability to credit whatever art it took from.
True.
And if it just does that, and then furthermore, of the fee, it gets divvied up among the artists, that seems ethically more sound. And it gives people credit, and they can go to the websites of the artists that they like, kind of thing, if they want. I think that's a cool balance. I also read, I took a screenshot of this when you initially proposed this. So there's this guy I follow on Instagram. I love his music. His name's Saint Finnegan. And he did AI, the art, and he said, as fun as these are, it's actually a powerful tool to use to manifest, not gonna lie. I've been working with AI for about 2 years now. As an alchemist, using something that typically gets a bad rep for the good is very exciting. There's a sense of rebel. We have a choice to use these things before it uses us. And I'm like, that's a really powerful caption too.
Yeah. Well, that's the
Dude,
other thing that
right.
I think I'm like, it's a tool. It's anything that we've made is a tool, and it depends on how you're using it. If the app content came from the
Yeah.
artist who submitted art for it, yeah, like I think the
Well, and it's
thing
like,
that is the issue is that it's learning, but then that's the other thing is that it's like I would never like if you followed a YouTuber and you learned how to draw hands from that YouTuber. You followed 3 YouTubers and you learned from those YouTubers how to draw hands. Are you putting their names on every single piece that you're drawing now
right.
after that? And I'm not saying that we don't have a precedent for it, I think, too, because it's like nobody did it by themselves.
No. And,
But no,
you
but
know,
so
I
I'm
mean,
saying like yeah, go ahead.
it's kind of the same, like the way, because I will admit that for a very long time in my life, I didn't feel, it's like, okay, stay with me, this is weird, but when I was a kid, I was funny. I didn't know that, but I then knew how to get laughs by memorizing Austin Powers freaking
Randy
major,
baby.
right, like any fucking comedy, and repeating it and getting a laugh, and that was, and I would just steal it, and then I would be like so afraid when it came to like coming up with my own content, because I was like, I can't, I can only repeat or whatever, like it wasn't even conscious, it was just a thought. And then and then I had uh what was it, I went and learned politics in high school, and then went on through, really was politically active. Now I'm like, oof, I'm just parroting shit.
Yeah.
And that was honestly, that was 15 years of, honestly, yes, I had opinions about it, but it was like I memorized the talking points. Like I knew the good things to say, I knew the bad things to say,
Yeah.
and none of this was conscious. And then to the point that I remember I had a friend, a really good friend, kind of call me out on being like, I told you that, like, and you didn't, like, you're acting like it's your idea. And I'm like, I don't even know how to separate the information in my brain, because then everything I've ever said is because I've
And
like
that's my next
formed an
point
opinion.
is I
But now, real fast,
yeah.
I'm so sorry and
No,
God
keep
bless
going.
you, is where I'm at now is recognizing it's happening to me, that same criticism where I'm helping my family member. I'm constantly hearing them say the things I've said as if it's their idea, and I'm like, oof, that's interesting. Like, and as a result, that does, one, cause me pain, two, it's being misrepresented, and three, often. And now I'm like, okay, I don't care, I'm detaching. But what I am doing is what we were talking about earlier. When I have something, because now my head is full of my own thoughts for the first time in my, maybe my life, or I've let them be. I I can cite people. Like if you taught me something, I go, my friend Carly taught me this, and I take time, or I heard this from Nish, or this is an idea, and I try to cite it. And it does feel like the most morally aligned of all those options. I have to recognize that does feel right. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Giving credit where credit is due.
But then I take it, so then if we're all part of one consciousness individuates out until it then goes in again. And what I think is as we ascend in consciousness, we go back in. Because individuating, because that's why people are scared to die, because when you die, you become part of everything else again. So losing that individuation feels like dying, but you are never not part of everything else. So regardless of whether you own it, whose thought it is, it's never yours. The art is never yours. The music is never yours. The thought is never yours. You're just channeling it. It's not yours. Nothing is yours. You don't own anything. You don't own the art. You don't own the music. We live in a reality, and that's what I think is happening is now it's like, okay, now you are forced to reckon with the fact that you don't own anything, because I can teach this AI everything that you could ever learn, like a human being, and it will appear in this 3D app. So what do you own? That's my thing. I'm like, none of my thoughts are mine. I just channel them. They're not mine. I could be the first one to tell you, but that doesn't make it mine.
Woo!
And it feels like death. So we're like, fuck, we're gonna die. Consciousness individuates to have individual experiences, but then as it comes to like true entropy, which is the long arm of the universe bursts into existence, and then it caves in on itself and becomes nothing, and then another universe is born. That's how the universe works. We burst out, individuates into everything, and then it individuates so much that it folds in on itself, becomes a black hole, and the black hole swallows everything else. And then outside the other side of the black hole, everything else comes out, and it's so what's happening, what I think is happening, and what I've also channeled this, we're becoming together again.
Yeah.
So we're at the edge of like massive individuation, watching our consciousness merge. And we're like, what the fuck? This is terrible. Because to us, that's death. Becoming everything feels like death. It doesn't feel right? Because it's like, I've always been this one consciousness, but I'm actually not, though. I'm everything that's ever existed.
Ooh.
So if I'm everything, and I've made everything, and I've done everything, and we're coming, and I'm just like, no, I think this is actually what I feel like is like, no, I actually think this is what's supposed to be happening. And it sucks, and everybody's freaking out. Because it's the first, like, beep, like, uh-oh, are we all the same? Like, not the same, but, like, are we all, like, in a web, actually? Like, we're different, but we're all connected to each other? Like, and that's how, like, I'm like, yeah, but you don't. Coming together, coming apart, coming together. Zooming out and zooming back in.
I'm going to tell you, like, I have massive, like, relief at what you're saying and massive fear.
Yes! Both at the same time!
Right. Not at, like, so much of the, like, death aspect, but, like,
death. What we know
what
about
if we're fucking wrong, you know? Like, what if, like,
what if there is, like, no wrong? Right,
yeah,
wrong.
You're right. And then even then, what are we saying? But, like, ultimately what I mean is, here we are, we have to, like, and this is the thing. I'm so conflicted all the time because I do know that there's real, like I said, this is dangerous. Like, this is dangerous lines of thinking where if we are permissive of just take everything and whatever, who does that harm? Minorities, predominantly.
There you go.
And then if you go, what are even that? Like, you can zoom out and be like, but we're all eternal souls and a part of the all, and one with the all, part of the divine. I can't remember that lyric, but like we're it. So there is no difference there. And like, yes, we can see that. And part of me is like, well, if that's true, when will it actually be true large scale? Why are we stopping it? But on the other hand, I'm like, God damn it, I don't want to be another white woman perpetuating harmful that empower people to go and hurt more people. And I don't know what's real, you know, in terms of, I don't know. It's so hard. Like, I was watching White Lotus, I told you, and there was a couple that was very rich and, like, clearly out of touch. Doesn't
you
watch
said it, I just thought very rich.
Very rich.
Very rich.
And they're, like, clearly out of touch. They don't, you know, watch the news or whatever. And honestly, they were saying all the things that I've been saying, but with a snooty tone that made it like, but I'm not that way. I got to distance myself from it, but I also was very much like scalded. And it was like, you're just like, honestly, like, what can you even do about it anyway? So, like, why watch the news? Like, and we're just having fun, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I am so afraid that on one hand, I do genuinely believe that I can't watch the news anymore. I can't do this because I am like suicidally
You
miserable.
have to be able to choose the way that you consume that kind of
Yes,
information.
absolutely.
It has
But
to be
I'm
like from
looking at-
sources that you vetted yourself. It can't be just like, here's the program that tells you. Like, it used to be, here's the program, and now it's like, I will choose my sources that will give me that information.
Well, and that's what I mean, is you and I know that nuance that we're saying.
Yes.
We have put so much thought, consideration, and care, not because we want to like turn off and like let people suffer while we like eat our pie. We're literally trying to like elevate us all with us. Like, we're trying so hard. We're just trying a different tactic. But then by saying that doesn't stop the person who is perpetuating the harm from hearing what we say, taking the surface level of it. It's like what appropriation is at its core, where it's like, it has depth, it has soul, it has meaning, and then we go, honestly, that's fire. That's fucking
honestly,
fierce.
that's fire.
And it loses
and
it.
you
It's
take
dead.
it,
like,
and you, yeah.
And it's like, maybe that's part of it too, clearly, because it's happening. But I do have a lot of fear that it's like, how do we protect it? Is it our job to protect it? I don't know. And yeah, because it's like on the large scale, I can see, especially when I'm like watching shows or doing the dance competition. I host little kids, they dance. It's so cute.
Yeah.
For them. It's the most precious
I
job
love
ever.
that.
When they're dancing, I'm watching them and I have these meta moments where I'm like, how much more could we do and push boundaries and do things that are like so crazy if everything was ours, if everything was collaborative and there was no censor, there was no like, you can't do that because you're going to upset this person.
Yeah.
It's like, just do it because you feel it, whatever, you know? We're limited so much as a society. So I'm with you, is what I'm saying. That was a long ass.
I think it's both is the fucked up thing.
Yeah.
I think it's both. Ew, gross. Paradoxes? Yes. I think it's both.
All of it is.
I
Yep.
think what the shitty thing is that the new age will use that as a reason to harm because that's easier, because that's their choice.
And take.
But then in reality, it's both. It's, we are coalescing and ascending into one consciousness forever, into eternity, like the DNA spiral. However, because we live in this 3D reality where it does matter who gets paid, it does matter who gets credited, and it does matter right now. Maybe in the future it won't matter, and we'll all be taken care of, and it'll be great.
Right, and
but
when
right
is that
now,
future if we don't do it?
So what I hope is that everyone's like, oh, art really is priceless. Like, I like literally like, I'm like, please, dear God, give us universal basic income, you fucks. Like, I'm like, literally like, you literally like, I'm like, you're so almost there. Come on.
I know.
If we could just get to that moment where it's like,
clothes.
oh, we have enough resources to take care of everybody, and we could just, oh my God. And then if you let people do whatever they want to do, we'll have even more doper shit than we could ever fucking imagine in the world, because we just let people do whatever they want and we take care of everybody we don't need to mine any more shit. We don't need to mine any more shit. We don't need to manufacture barely any more shit. We don't need to do any of that shit. All that shit that we was doing, we don't need to do that shit anymore. So now we can do the cool stuff. We don't have, like, literally mining out of the earth is a waste of fucking time. We don't need to mine any more shit. We've mined all the resources that we need are in landfills right now.
And you're so fucking...
So, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? UBIS! Well, and that's the thing, is that we still have to think in this, like, who gets credited? And I want them to get credited. But I hope that we're like, okay, let's credit everybody. And you know what? It's too hard to track everyone down, so let's just take care of everyone. Like, that's what I hope. Like, it's like, you know what? It's too hard. It's too hard to track everybody down. Let's just make sure everybody's taken care of, and then we won't have to worry about it.
Like, for example, if Socrates or whatever.
Socrates.
So crates. If everyone was like, yeah, I said that, it's like, no, Socrates did, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, it's like that mind is what shared.
Yeah, I
and
said
Planck-
that. Yeah, and I think
You know,
that's the
I don't
difference
know.
is because when I say it, I'm like, these thoughts aren't even mine. You can these thoughts aren't even mine. Take them. But not take them, but like, these thoughts aren't mine, truly.
Well,
But
yes,
I get it.
yes.
What you mean is by like, it's the intention of being like, I said that, as opposed to like, somebody said this. Somebody else said this, and I heard it. I don't know who it was, but somebody else said
Right.
this.
Well,
As
and
opposed
we're
to,
consuming
I
our-
said that. And that's a difference between like, somebody else said this. This is not an original thought I'm having. Never mind that no thought I've ever had is original because I'm channeling it from universal consciousness. Difference between I said this. Because that's still the same thing of I said this. No, you
Yeah.
didn't. You never said anything, technically.
Right. Right.
You're still
that's
doing
the
the
thing, is
play.
it's
You're still
so-
doing the thing where you own it. It's like you don't own it.
No, and
I didn't say
and
that. Somebody else
and
said
it's
that.
crazy because it's like I do agree with you, and I can sense that it's like it is my attachment that is white knuckled. That it's like I'm not letting go because on one hand,
Because that's not the reality
like
we
you
live in right
said,
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think that's
also,
valid. I think that's true.
Why is it that we're always, this is not saying that you're like this is you. I'm saying like right now what's happening, what's always on the table of being deemed priceless is art, is creation, but not food. You know, not fucking shelter. That is worthy of price and payment. But
No, it's
like,
not. Well,
art
and then
isn't.
I'm like, no, I think that should all be free. I think we should have been providing that
I
10 years
agree.
ago. What the fuck's happening? Like, so I'm like,
But
and
right?
I'm not, but I'm
Because
not the
we're
one who gets to do the math. Because then there's people who are like, well, we got to do the math to do it, and it's like, fine, that's great.
Right.
But but also the reality of that is too, and that's the other thing that it's like the big play is that like there's not enough, which is a huge play, because there is enough.
Dude, there's so much that our land.
That's over with, dude. There's so much shit that we could be giving out.
The bleeding cause of gases being emitted that
The
are
jig is
depleting
up.
the ozone
We
is
know that
from
you
food
throw all the
waste.
shit away, my guy. We already know you throw it all away. You waste it. Starbucks, but it fucking burns a trash can full of shit every night because they're the worst fucking, like we know. We know that we know. We already know. We have enough resources. The jig is up. But now it's like that crossroad of like, okay, shit.
Yeah.
What do we do now? Because we know. I don't know what we do. Because I don't think that's not going to be us that decides. We just know that the jig is up, which sucks. I'm not going to be able to see what we do.
And it is crazy too, because like to come back to the AI aspect, when do we organize the general strike? I know that's the thing, right?
Never- yeah.
I've seen that too, and I think that'd be great.
The
and-
way. Hey,
But-
man. Hey, man.
it's happening, you know, and it's. But going back to the AI thing,
Yeah.
look at how long have we known that using face filters, they're taking our face and using that for deep fake data, you know, and for facial recognition shit. And like, that is, we've been signing our souls away on so many other levels. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm with you. Like, do whatever the fuck you want. It's not your fault. Like, everything that gets pegged on the consumer.
Do whatever the
like,
fuck you
it's like,
want, and also do your best that you can do.
do
Please
your best.
try.
Check in and check in with your
For
moral
your own
compass.
soul.
Say.
If anything, for your own
Yeah.
soul, please do your best. For your
Just
own
do your
soul.
best, forget the rest, as they say.
Do your best, forget the rest. I do agree with
okay,
you.
so-
I do agree with you.
What? How long do we do this for? I can't
We
remember.
got
Should
we
do
got
Q&A,
we got like
pep
14
talky?
minutes left, so we can do a Q&A if anybody's got like questions or things that they want to talk about really quick. We got 15 minutes, or we can do pep talks.
Yeah.
We did get really deep into the fucking. That soapbox is so tantalizing to me still.
Which one?
That same one that I was just on, where it's like, we should have things for free, and we should have UBI, and like that's my favorite soapbox. I'm like, everything should be for free. Which is fine for me to say, who doesn't run anything and doesn't fucking do math for my job or anything. Like, yeah, I'm like, everything should be free. Make it free for us. It's like, that's fine. But I'm always like, it's my favorite soapbox.
Well, and it's true. It's like, how
it's true, but like, all right. What are we gonna do?
Until we do it.
I think what the main thing and what the thing I focus on now is that, like, okay, there's all this stuff operating outside of us that can make us feel very powerless, and that can, like, it's very easy to get caught up in the, like, well, this is happening, this is happening outside of me, but like my focus and what like I really do want to focus on is like, okay, then what do we do? What do I do then?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, you're right. Like, I think that ultimately, again, our goal of talking about this shit is not to come up with an answer, because we will not know it ever.
No, and it's different for everybody.
To come up with it. But I do think that the thing that felt closest to home is that like analogy of like coming back together and being like,
how does this facilitate connection?
It just hurts, because I had a friend, Lawrence, who pointed out that like we wouldn't have these issues if it wasn't like, this is my idea, I need to feed my family, I need to take care of them, so I need to patent this and la la la. And the only reason that is the system is so we can make individual wealth.
Yeah.
But like that system, if we actually crave it to die, it's just gotta die. And so, like I said, and I don't think I was like making it clear of like what I meant, which is, how is it gonna happen unless it just happens? So for me, hands up a little bit, you know, where it's like, I can only check in, and I promise you I am, with everything that I'm doing.
Yes.
And assess if it feels in alignment or not, and if so, why, if not, why, and strive for that in peace within. And like, to have peace within for me means to not be impeding on someone else's ability to have that peace. So it's like, that's all you can do. And I fear saying that, because it's like, I don't want to be like, that's all I could do is like, I gotta follow my peace,
but
it's
what
off.
You're doing. So you're not providing justification to anybody else. You're saying, in which this is all what we have to do is like, you use your own discernment and be like, right, is this right for me and where I am and what I'm doing and what my like mission is. And like, it is helpful. It is helpful to have like, what am I doing here? And not like, you know, a definitive path, but like, for me, what I truly believe for my life and the reason that I'm here is to facilitate connection, and is to be a unifying element. And so when I have this conversation with you, and then we have it all, we come out and we come back down, what it comes down to me is like, okay, so how does this facilitate connection? Because that's what's important to me.
Yeah.
And that's what my job is. Other people's job is to figure out who owns it. Another person's job is to do the math. Another person's job is to set up a social system. My job,
it's clearly not our job. Okay,
so how does my job, which is my job is to be like, okay, so how does this facilitate connection? How does this tool facilitate connection? How does an AI who makes art, how does that facilitate connection? Because that's what I care about. All the other stuff is valid, but it's not my job to figure that out. My job consistently has been, okay, how do we facilitate connection with this? And then I don't know what other people's job is, but like, that's why like, I'm like, let's have the conversation so we can all talk about it. And be out.
Man, and I'm glad too, because it's like it did like, it's like we were saying earlier with I forget her name, Common Core,
Random Core, who I love.
That's self-insulting. Random Core was saying about the intrusive thoughts. It's like, you don't know what thoughts are worthy of being like combated also until you say them out loud. It's like this, like all these thoughts, we didn't even know probably that we had them all in our brain, and that they were even formulated into like anything resembling an opinion.
Yeah.
It's like it came out, and through just talking about it, it's like, whoa, did that one open up a lot more possibilities, but also shut down a lot of the stuff that was taking up wasted space. And now we've evolved to another level of thinking about it. And the more and more you talk about it, the more you will kind of like expand and ascend, you know, in your thinking.
And doing that together.
Right. And just speaking what you're thinking is speaking your truth.
Yes.
But just because you're speaking your truth doesn't mean it's the truth. It's just what's true in the moment. Like, I can't tell you how many times how wrong I've been.
Oh my God.
But I wouldn't have been able to even hear that until I said it out loud and someone went, whoa. And I went, oh, you're right. Shit.
Oh my God.
That is what.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that is really cool. And it is to a point where I'm like, woo, you just opened up like a whole like
for me too.
Like,
yeah.
You're right. You hit on a topic of it I didn't see. Like you hit on new of it that I didn't have eyes on, which is like, hey, this could be it. You know, like not it, but like just like this is what it looks like to have our like enforced ideals.
Yeah.
Go away. You know.
And your perspective on it is so, and like I do that thing too, where it's like I come out so far that I'm not thinking about, that I'm not considering the reality that we do live. Like our bodies, we do live in this reality still, and it is important. Nothing matters, everything matters, but like it is important. And if people are feeling things, those feelings need to be considered.
Amen.
Because we do live in this reality.
And your survival needs to be considered.
Yes.
It's like if we're taking somebody's ability to survive, which in that sense,
and then
like,
it keeps, and I know it keeps shifting for like, but then ultimately, if people are voicing concern, those concerns need to be validated because they're having the emotions for a reason. And whether like, you can't say that's wrong for you. It's like, no, like they're people who are directly involved, which are the artists whose work is being learned on, need to be considered. Their emotions and feelings need to be considered.
And finances.
Just because that's what's and finances and like what that means. Because and then it's the same thing. It's like, what did the monks, I mean, they probably didn't get paid to like transcribe the books or anything, but like, what did the monks think when we made the printing press? Were they pissed? Were they like, thank God? Oh, fucking thank God. I fucking hate transcribing books. Oh, now I have so much time.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't know. Some monks were probably like, that was my favorite thing to do. I don't know.
And it is
everybody,
true.
We're all here, so we gotta like.
We can't resist it. We can't fight it. It's here. Like you said, it's happening. So, opinion about it, no opinion about it. It's going on, you know?
It's going on.
Let's say this. God damn, they look cool.
God damn, they do.
God damn, they look cool.
And this was the other distinction that I made. Because I have had people make art of me who are artists who know me from Twitch and the internet.
Brag.
No, but I was like, you know what? Paying an AI could never amount to somebody DMing you art they made of you. That's fucking sick.
Man,
like I was like, and not in a way where it's like, fuck you guys who never had that. That not like that. But in a way where it's like when an artist is moved to create art of you,
to take their time.
That is a piece of connection that is like classic. When an artist has a muse and you like whatever famous artist painted like a million portraits of this lady with red hair and everyone's like, oh yeah, he fucking loved that lady. That's like a nice meaty part of human connection where it's like if I have the ability to draw you or draw something like you or I'm inspired by you and I share it with you, right. That is something that like an AI can't replace.
Ooh, yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. And like,
so they don't got to worry about
ultimately,
that.
I don't
Nobody's
think
gotta
that
worry about
that. Like you said, in everything, it's just paradoxes. Like we can't ever at any point of this settle on like it's this.
No, and that's not the point either.
Right.
Yeah.
And also it raises like, why is it that you have to have means to even access fine art? Like, why is it that you have to have means to...
And there they go again. Whoosh, like,
and then
it's
off we
forever,
go, and off
we go, and off we go. And off we go. That was good, though.
It's so cool. Like, I do, like, it's so... I often wonder if people... not everyone. I do know that there are people who really connect with me, and I wonder if you feel this, too. And are like, ooh, yay, I get to dig into the depths. I'm going to hang out with this person or whatever, because we can't help it, and that's just what happens.
Yeah.
But I often wonder if there are people who are like, oh, God, I have to see Jess. I'm going to tell her, like, I'm doing good, and she's going to read into it, and we're going to be talking about that. You know, like, but this is my favorite shit right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love you, and I'm
Getting
so
in
glad
there.
you get
I love
joy
to
out
get
of
in
it.
there. Let's get in there.
Because I'm like, surely it's torture for many, you know?
Random Core says, I just have seen you 2 times, Jess, and even online, I find you fun to listen to. Jess is so fun to listen to. That's why I'm trying to gab with her for 7 years, dude. That's what I'm like, we gotta get gabbing. And this is so funny because this started, she used to live on the same block as me, Jess did. Same block. In Chicago, in Ravenswood.
God,
Remember?
yeah.
And I would walk down the street, we'd have a gab if you were home. And I would call her on the
That's
phone, I'd be like, are you
right.
home? You wanna have a gab? Come over,
Yeah,
we'd gab for hours, for like 2 hours, 3 hours. And I would read your tarot, that's right! Yep, mm-hmm. So this has like been forever.
Yeah.
It's been forever.
We did, and it would always come very divinely timed. But I'll tell you guys that I had, during COVID, Carly had a massive perspective shift.
Oh yeah,
One may
you
call
keep
it
talking. I
awakening.
have to pee so bad, but
I do
want
too,
you
but
keep.
go.
Wait,
Okay.
no. Okay.
No, I meant I have to pee, but I have time. I'm just sames.
Wait, you keep talking. I wanna end out with you,
Yeah,
but
you
I
can
have to
hear,
pee.
right?
I
You
will
pee?
die. I will die. I will die if I don't pee.
Please don't die on this. Bring the camera with you, everyone says, and they'll Venmo you for that. No, just okay, so thank you, Ryan. All right, thank you. And thank you, Random Core. Jesus. All right. See, I gotta put tunnel vision on. But yeah, so Carly had her, dare I say, awakening. I don't know why I have hesitance to say that, but it is true. Just a massive perspective shift. What actually matters versus what society tells us matters. She had hers before mine, and she hit me up, and I was in the middle of like my unraveling. I was starting to unravel, and ultimately I ended up getting arrested and put in a mental hospital on my quest for freedom. It was very extreme, and Carly's was very a lot more grounded. And I was just like, we're free. This is bullshit. We're all one. I can't believe we're doing this against each other. I'm gonna get naked. Blah blah blah. It was a thing. Anyway, yes, thank you. And I remember I came to. It took like months before I even knew how to talk to people again. And I called Carly, and she went, I was wondering when this call would come. Like, welcome to the world. And I was like, what? Like, you've been here? And it was just so wild to know that, like, we experienced something so similar and separate, and that Carly had the fucking beautiful decency to let mine happen at my pace, even though she sensed mine was coming. She was just like, yeah, I'll see her when she's there, and let it go. And like that just speaks more testament to just the love Carly gives in friendships.
I love you. Do you want to go pee?
No, I can hold it.
Okay, cool. I was going to die.
Yeah.
We have like 2 minutes left.
2 minutes. Should we sing a song? I'm just kidding.
Should we sing a song? I can give you a pep talk. You give me a pep talk.
This is true. Does anyone want a pep talk?
Does anybody else want a pep talk before we give each other a pep talk?
We always give each other pep talks. Yeah, for sure. We all probably things differently. It's part of whatever
makes everyone so beautiful and interesting. And I do think you are all beautiful and interesting.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it like you, baby. I want to watch your pep talks. Okay, all right, okay.
Okay.
Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
I will go first
going.
this time. I think we'll alternate. Give each other pep talks.
I'm pretending they're both for me. Yes, right.
That's the thing that we always said is everything that we say that's encouraging to each other is always something that we need to hear ourselves.
Isn't that
And
funny?
it is universal.
Yeah.
But I do have one that is on the tip of my tongue that just came, which is universal. And I do think that, like, if we could take away something from everything we've gotten to talk about today, most importantly is to speak your truth is love. Even if you know it's wrong, to get it out is what will have it be battled in a way that it needs to be battled. And by swallowing it and having that turn into resentment or like, ugh, I don't want to see this person because they always do this thing. And hey, that's not love. That is manipulation. That is wanting somebody to like you.
And
that
control
is wanting them to see you a
drama.
certain way. And what happened to me in my deepest depression that led to my highest high of awakening and all that, but it was the darkest I'd ever been, and it was because I kept feeling like people don't see me. I never let myself be seen. I wanted people to be vulnerable with me, but I was not vulnerable with them. I was rehearsed. I had the same sentences, and I would just tell them oh, here's what you got to know. And I realized it takes bravery. It does, because your heart races. It is painful. You'll cry. It's overwhelming. You don't know how to control it. Therefore, it feels unsafe, and your body can go into a panic, even a panic attack. And that's really scary.
Yeah.
So it's like, it literally, all of us have the ability to be brave. And in a sentence that my coach used to say is, feel the fear, but do it anyway. And not because I'm going to teach them, not because
No.
you deserve to be seen and loved for all that you are. And to leave it with a quote from Kurt Cobain, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And may we all just find moments
Come
of
as
courage.
you are. Come as you are.
As you are. We did end in a song.
As I want you to be. Okay.
My pep talk's over. That's what I felt. So that's what I said.
I love that. And that is exactly what I need to hear. That's funny.
That's funny.
That's funny. Cuties, have a good weekend. Bye, Random Core.
Yes, but Carly, you have a pep talk.
I do have a pep talk. That was so good. And I'm like, okay. I mean, the thing that I said in the beginning is the same thing. And our brain likes to complicate a lot of things. Our brain is always going to try and complicate it, and our spiritual lessons are going to get in there, and then the gremlins are going to use our spiritual lessons to complicate things, and then it just becomes like this roundabout. But like, you know what truth sounds like. You know that it sounds uncomplicated. And it's going to be your truth. You're going to hear it. And that's what we cultivate, is the ability to hear
and feel
and listen. And that's so funny that you said that, because I was in the bathroom this morning and it was like, stop thinking, just feel about it. What does it feel like? Stop thinking. What does it feel like? Stop thinking. What does it feel like? What do you feel? How do you feel? Can you love me anyway? What does it feel like? And it's like, you already know what needs to happen. You already know what the tricks of your brain are going to play. And it becomes kind of funny. It's like, oh, you rascal. You rascal. Can't time my meditations anymore because that bitch will just wait 20 minutes and then keep going. But you know what truth sounds like. And it's going to come from you. Always. You could read as many books, you could go on TikTok, scroll forever, you could be reaching out, but it's always going to be like whoosh coming from you. You're the guru. I'm not the guru. You're the guru. That's not the guru. You're the guru. You're the one. We did it. That was the second episode.
Everybody.
Yeah.
We both wore green.
We did both wear green. This is my favorite sweater right now.
Oh
geez.
yeah. Man, I love
My battery
everyone
ran
who
out.
came and stayed.
Spirit saying
The
wrap it
friend
up.
group was great.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up, they say. All right. We're good. We're
Love
good.
you.
That was the spark. I love you. My name's C2.
I'm Jess.
Is it C2? And that's Jess
Oh, here,
Debacco.
I'll-
Where are the commands? Is that not it? Thanks. Enjoy both your Saturdays. Ryan, I love that you were here. Thank you so
Ryan,
much
you're
for having
so
been here.
fun.
Ryan is one of my other comedy longtime friends. Random Core, thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody who hung out, thank you so much for hanging out. This was The Spark, a show that lights you up about the universe and everything with me, C2, Jess Debacco. We're here
Monthly.
monthly. I'm gonna say, we're here monthly. We schedule it out. We put it on. We post it on socials. Please go follow. She's at Jess Debacco. I'm at C2. I used to have a command here. I'm at twitch.tv/C_2 with 2 O's. This was on the Trident Network. The Trident Network, a 3-pronged digital entertainment network. We got YouTube shows. This is going to be up on YouTube, by the way. We got YouTube shows, we got podcasts, and we have the live streams, which is what you just caught. I can't wait to see you again. I hope to see you here next month. And you're the one. I love you.
You're the one.
You're the one. You're still the one, and I love.
It makes me cry. It's a hell of fun. Still the one. I love that we're singing 2 different songs.